Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Juan Rodas. Today we have defender Josh Suggs, the new acquiring for New Mexico United. Josh, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Juan. I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you for accepting our invitation today. I really appreciate it because from what you were telling me, you just moved to New Mexico with your family, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation today.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Thank you. So to start off, Josh, talk to us about your playing in New Mexico as a little kid, and were you a defender?
Yeah, so I grew up playing here as a kid. Just to be honest, I played baseball mostly when I was younger. And in the off season of baseball, all my teammates would play soccer. So I kind of started just playing with them just for something to do. And then I ended up falling in love with the sport. It's just so active compared to baseball. I would get bored. And as I got a little older, they transitioned me more to the outfield. And, man, there were times where I would just stand out there and do nothing. Yeah. And so gradually I fell more and more in love with soccer and decided that that's the only thing I wanted to pursue.
For sure. And then when you did start playing, around what age did you start playing? Did you start off as a defender?
So I was 4 years old when I started playing, and to be honest, I think I mostly was a forward until probably around high school. I went into the midfield more as like a left winger, and from there, my senior year in high school, I think I started playing as a left back. Humboldt recruited me as a left back, but then when I got there after my freshman year, they told me that I was a forward for them. So I played forward all throughout college pretty much, which is strange because I was used to playing left back, and I think that's more of my natural position.
Yeah, for sure. So talk to us about your high school experience. Did you guys do well in your high school? And if you did, how did you get scouted by Humboldt? And were there any other offers from college?
Yeah, so high school was fun. I only played 1 year of high school soccer. Wow. High school in New Mexico, the level of competition is not great, especially in my town of Las Cruces. It's a small hometown. The high schools don't have that many kids in them. We would play club mostly throughout the high school season. My senior year, I did play, and it was fun. It was more so about just having that time with friends, to be honest, more than anything. Humboldt. I started getting recruited by Humboldt when I was a junior in high school. Wow. And I verbally committed there. I actually went on a visit to Humboldt and just loved it. It was amazing. And so decided I wanted to go there. I hadn't even talked to any other schools. That was the first school I talked to. Wow. I committed there verbally. My senior year, I started getting a lot of attention from Division I schools. But since I had already verbally committed, I thought it was important at that time just to keep my word. So I ended up going to Humboldt. And then, like I said, I loved it so much that even though I had transfer opportunities to go to bigger and better schools, I stayed there just because it was just so beautiful. And I was just so in love with that place.
For sure. That's good. And now transitioning maybe a few years later, you finally signed your first professional contract with OC Blues FC. Talk to us about that feeling that any other kid in the world would love to sign a professional contract.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. So when I was coming out of college, I had no idea what that professional experience was going to be like. Leaving college, I got I basically had an open tryout opportunity with Orange County. And went there on trial. Well, for the tryout, they liked me. They asked if I could stick around just to train with them. I did that. And then they told me, basically, we'll sign you for dirt cheap. Like, basically no money. Yeah. And I did that. I was all for it, man. I would do anything I could just to play professionally. Like, I would work odd jobs, anything. But I do remember the first time I signed that contract, it was like on a park bench. No one was around. I always envisioned like there'd be a bunch of media there taking photos of me signing the contract, and it was nothing like that. It was kind of pathetic, to be honest. And here I am signing this contract that's worth like a few $100s a month. The league has obviously come a long way since then. Sure. But man, that was the greatest feeling in the world to me.
Yeah, that's great. And then a year later, you actually get signed by an MLS team, being the San Jose Earthquakes, where we actually met for the first time. Talk to us about your experience being with the Earthquakes.
Yeah, man, that was crazy how that happened too, because I only played 8 or 9 games with the Blues. Yeah, with Orange County. And at that time, San Jose was scouting me. And I had an injury with Orange County, and they released me.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was done. I thought my career was over. And I got this phone call saying that San Jose is actually interested in me, and they wanted me. They knew I was injured. They just said, get better and come in when you can. So I did that and impressed them on a trial. And they invited me for preseason. I signed a contract with them. And my experience there was just honestly amazing. It was a dream come true with that team, because that was in 2012 when they had their we won the Supporters Shield.
Marvin Chavez.
Yeah, all those guys. Marvin Chavez, Victor Bernardes, Wando. He had his the goal scoring record that year. Lenny, Alan Gordon, Sam Cronin, Shea Salinas, all those guys were there. And to be a part of that team was honestly unbelievable. And I still I don't have anything to compare it to, because we were so successful, and the group of guys we had was so amazing that it was just truly, it was magnificent.
For sure. Is there any possibly a key moment throughout your stay with the Earthquakes that you still remember till this day that you possibly won't forget about?
Man, there's a lot of those moments with that team. Just being around that group of guys, that's a group of winners, and I was getting taught lessons every single day by guys like Sam Cronin, Alan Gordon, Wando. They had so much experience, and they were just born champions. And I felt like every day I trained with those guys, I was picking up on something new. I can't really point out one thing because there's too many to count, to be honest.
For sure. Could you possibly name like the craziest teammate in the locker room, or is there any guy that you could say that had no fashion, or who had the best fashion overall?
Man, probably Simon Dawkins. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, of course.
Dude, yeah, he was very well dressed. But I do remember I remember Victor Bernardes was crazy as hell, man. He didn't speak a lick of English, but he would be running around naked outside, and the guy was just crazy, man.
Yeah, for sure. And then when you were with the Earthquakes, you get loaned to Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your experience playing in Tampa.
It was a little strange because I only was there for about a month. And in that time frame, I never even actually got to play with them much because the Earthquakes had some injuries with their defenders, and so they actually recalled me almost immediately just to train because they had a lack of defenders in training. So I enjoyed my time in Tampa, but I also didn't spend enough time to really get to know the area and get to know my teammates, the team. I don't even think I may have played a few exhibition games with them, but I never even played a real game with them, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow.
So
it was okay experience?
It was good, yeah. I mean, it was a learning experience as far as being a young player and getting sent to the other side of the country. But I don't have much to take away from it because I didn't play that much and I wasn't there for that long.
Yeah, for sure. So then even after with you being signed with the Earthquakes, you eventually signed with OC Blues again. Talk to us about your experience being there for the second time and what was needed to win the championship. Because I think that second year, was it your third year, that you guys had a pretty good season? Yeah,
we had a good year there in 2015. So when I signed back with Orange County in 2012, and we had a good team, but we didn't have a great team. We were decent. I was coming in from San Jose, who had let me go during that July, the roster freeze date. And it was good. I got a lot of games under my belt as a young player, which I didn't have the year before, and I obviously didn't get that many with San Jose. So I learned a lot. That was the first season of me playing consistent minutes without being injured. And I learned a lot. We had a good team, but I don't think we went very far in the playoffs or anything like that.
Oh, you didn't? So what
no.
was it the third time though, or no?
Dude, so I went to Orange County. I signed there my first year, went to San Jose, went from San Jose to Orange County to Atlanta to Orange County
again.
Yeah. And then when I went back to Orange County from Atlanta in 2015, we had a really good year where we won the Western Conference in the regular season. But then we ended up losing to Galaxy in the playoffs.
Oh, okay. Wow. So a lot happened during that time.
Yeah, I was bouncing around a lot, man.
Yeah, for sure. So now, obviously, now that you brought up Atlanta, you go from coast to coast. You go from Cali all the way to Atlanta. Talk to us about playing with Atlanta with Alex Harley, Junior Burgos, and even Poku.
Yeah, those guys were great. I mean, specifically Poku was. I mean, it's funny when I was there. He was when I first got there. He was on trial and he didn't make the team, and I thought it was shocking. I thought he was one of the best players out there. The guy was strong as an ox. Like he definitely should have been playing on our team.
Yeah.
And they didn't sign him, which I thought was crazy. The next year, obviously, they brought him in and signed him, and then you know what happened from there. He gets signed to New York City, has a great career there. Now he's a very successful soccer player, obviously. Junior Burgos as well. The guy's unbelievably talented. I'm not sure where he's playing right now, but yeah, I mean, all those guys. We had an unbelievable team there. I mean, Danny Barrera was there. You know, Milton Blanco, all those guys. They were really good. And we actually, when I was there, we went to we played in the championship in the soccer bowl, I think is what they called it back then. So that was a great team.
For sure. And now 2 years later, you eventually signed with Colorado Switchbacks. Talk to us about being with Colorado for about 2.5 years.
Yeah, I was happy there, man. I was in Orange County, and I've just never really been a guy for the city. You know, I didn't like living in Orange County or LA. It just wasn't for me. I really wanted to. I was looking for an opportunity elsewhere just to get out of that area. I wanted to be in Colorado because my interests outside of soccer are pretty much being in the outdoors, and so I was looking for that. And when I found out that the Switchbacks were interested. I kind of jumped on that right away. And Colorado, man, that has been one of the best times of my life, just being there and just enjoying my time outside of soccer. And I think it's actually brought the best out of my soccer career as well.
For sure. Another question for you, Josh, is we have seen on your Instagram that you love hunting with your wife. Talk to us about what do you enjoy doing apart from soccer? Because obviously as an athlete, you know, you train every day. You possibly don't want to do soccer. You possibly want to enjoy your time with family. Talk to us about what you enjoy.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important as a professional athlete to have something away from the sport that you're playing. Yeah, like my hobbies are just anything being outside. I love hunting and fishing. Just being in the outdoors where I can kind of take my mind off of soccer and just really get away from thinking about the game. And when I was in Colorado, I got to experience that for the first time. We were fishing and hunting almost every single day. Luckily, I have that same opportunity here in New Mexico because we're not far from the mountains at all now either. Yeah, but I do find that extremely important just to have hobbies outside of soccer.
For sure. And now throughout your professional career, even through college, could you name a best teammate that you've had throughout your career?
Best teammate as far in regard to best player or best personality and friend of?
Yeah,
friend. Oh man, well you see, it's tough, man, because there's a lot of guys that when you play with them professionally, you'll be really close with them, but then as soon as and there's a lot of turnover in soccer, obviously, but you'll play with guys for years and then you'll switch teams, and then you just don't keep in touch with those people anymore. So all those guys from San Jose, I was so close with all of them. I haven't talked to anybody in years. You know, no one really keeps in touch with each other anymore. I mean, Jordan Burt up in Colorado Springs, he was one of my best friends. I still keep in touch with him. I think that's rare. I'd say best all-around locker room guy that I felt treated me the best and I learned from the most. It's probably Alan Gordon. Yeah, and I don't really keep in touch with him. And same with, like, I could say that about Wando too. Like, the guy did so much for me when I was there, man. But it's tough because I don't keep in touch with those guys anymore, you know. But they are just so special, man. Even just as human beings, I just learned so much from them, even about just the way to be a man, you know. So I'd have to say, you know, those. I guess like the whole San Jose locker room, man. I can't leave any of those guys out. It was pretty spectacular.
For sure. And now, even throughout your career, could you name possibly the hardest game that you've encountered? Possibly going from the USL or even MLS, or even playing at Humble.
So hardest game.
Yeah.
Let me think. There's been some tough games. I think there's been a few games in the playoffs that I've lost that have been very difficult to get over that.
Mm-hmm.
I lost in the playoffs to Galaxy, which was pretty devastating, and the circumstances surrounding that game were we had won the Western Conference the regular season with Orange County, and we were supposed to host a game, but due to like some weird rule in the USL, Galaxy ended up hosting the game instead of us, and they won the game. It was just it was tough, and it didn't sit well with our team.
Mm-hmm.
But the same with the Switchbacks being in the playoffs with them, losing that game to Vancouver, that was extremely difficult for me.
For sure.
Yeah.
And now transitioning to having you or somebody being a coach for you. Do you think possibly Frank Yallop could have been possibly like one of the best coaches for you throughout your career, or somebody else?
Yeah, to be honest, when I was in my time in San Jose, and no disrespect to Frank, I think he was unbelievable at identifying talent. Like, he obviously brought in some of the best players in the MLS at that time.
Yeah.
Kind of hands off. So he didn't really do a lot of coaching. He more so put the guys together and let their personalities and their work ethic, he just let all that shine for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the best coach that I've had in my career, I haven't really. I'll have to see what my coach is like here, because so far the guy has been unbelievable. And I haven't played a game for him yet.
Mm-hmm.
But like, as far as a personal relationship, everything that he has done, just bringing me in, talking to me on the phone, like, I get here and he wants to have coffee with me and talk about his plans for the team.
Mm-hmm.
The guy has been unbelievable. So I hate to name one person. I've had a lot of really great coaches in my career.
Yeah.
It's tough to name one guy. And even before my professional soccer career, I had some unbelievable coaches just growing up,
Yeah.
So to leave them out would be tough for me as well.
Yeah, for sure. And now, as you being a defender and being versatile too, because I've seen you playing center back and left back, who do you think has been probably the toughest striker that you've had to defend?
Toughest striker?
Wando?
Yeah, I think it's probably Wando. The guy, him and even like Simon Dawkins in his prime,
Mm-hmm.
I used to get so frustrated with Wando because I was so much more athletic than him.
Yeah.
But it didn't even matter. Like, I would beat him to balls, but he was so smart that even though I knew what he was going to do, he would just do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was so good, and he had already thought about what I was going to do before I even figured out what I was going to do. The guy's just, there's a reason why he has as many goals in MLS as he does, and why he'll probably, get the record for most MLS goals. It's the guy. He's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like his intelligence on the field. So I would say probably Wando.
Probably Wando?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Doesn't surprise me, honestly. I thought you were going to probably say between Wando, Gordon, or maybe even Lenhart.
Yeah, those guys are great too, but I think I had the most trouble with Wando, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. Now transitioning to 2019, you're from New Mexico. You finally signed for New Mexico United. What are your expectations for this new upcoming year with a brand new team?
Yeah, I expect a lot from us, to be honest. They brought in some unbelievable players. Like, when they started signing guys, every single guy that they brought in has a good pedigree and a good resume. I expect us to win a lot of games. I'm not going to sit here and say that we're going to win a championship, but that definitely could be in the cards for us. I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen, just because the guys that they brought in, the coaching staff that they brought in, and just the amount of support that we're getting from the city without even playing a game is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure. And now, Josh, as you being American and not seeing the U.S. Play the World Cup, now with a new coach, Berhalter from Columbus Crew, do you think Berhalter has the capacity to take USA to the next level? Because obviously the USA has a lot of money. They have one of the best stadiums. They get paid well, Do you think Berhalter is a man for the USA?
I don't really know Berhalter, and it's tough for me to say, like, yes, he is, or no, he isn't. What I do know is that, from what I've heard, he's got a lot of energy. He's something new, and honestly, there's times where you just need to shake things up. You just need something different.
No identity.
What's that?
New identity.
Yeah, new identity. And as far as that's concerned, like he may have what it takes just to change that. For the U.S. I just think we needed to step away from where we were headed and head in a new direction. So, sure. I mean, possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Now, to finalize the interview, Josh, what advice would you give to younger kids? Because even myself, as a little kid, I wanted to become a professional player. Obviously, it didn't happen, but what advice would you give to younger kids that aspire to be a professional athlete like yourself?
Yeah, I'd say, there are times when it's tough, man. If I would have dedicated my life when I was younger to being better at the game, I could have been. You'll be so much more talented if you do that. Kids need to spend more time than what they're doing on perfecting their game. There were so many times in high school and even college where I just wasn't training that often. And my biggest thing in my professional career is the law of perfection, or I can't remember what it's called, but have you ever heard this saying that you need 10,000 hours in order to... Yeah. So in order to master something, like if you get 10,000 hours under your belt at a young age, you will be unbelievable at whatever it is that you're doing. So my biggest advice, or my best advice to give to young kids, is that try to get those 10,000 hours in as early as possible. Just spend all of your time on the field if that's something that you honestly want to do. That's basically it.
For sure. Well, thank you, Josh, for your amazing time. Thank you for, like I said before, for your accepting my invitation. God bless, and best of luck this season with New Mexico United, and hopefully you guys win a lot of games.
I appreciate it, Juan. Let me know if you want to come out to a game in LA or wherever you're at, and I'll get you tickets, man.
For sure. Thank you so much, Josh. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
All right. Sounds good, Juan.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody, for looking at my video. If y'all liked it, please like and subscribe. I will be releasing more content soon. But like I said, if you guys could speak your word about me to your friends, colleagues, parents, cousins, that would be grateful. Thank you so much. See you next time.